First thing you'll need to do for it is to have a YouTube to MP3 converter. Now this is one, wide to mp3.gg. There's another one. You can see the URL there. If you just do a search YouTube to MP3, you'll get a range. Some of these might be blocked by the school internet. Some of them might not be workable anymore. Feel free to find one that works for you, your internet connection and your computer. But I know this one and this one work fine at school. And what we're going to do is convert these to not MP3s, because that's just audio, but to MP4s. So for this task, we'll need a couple of things we can find on YouTube. So go to YouTube, and these are some things that I found that I'm going to put into my Haunted VCR. This one's just some TV static. This one's a green screen video. I'll show you each what they look like. So that's nice. Well, distorted. There's that one. Now later. And this TV noise. I'm going to keep the music for it. And then some other ingredients. So I'm going to use museums as my theme for this. This is the British Museum is full of stolen artifacts.
It's the world's largest world history museum, and it draws millions of visitors every year.
Vox.
In
this one, the museum's return their stolen objects.
Of stolen loot. In 1897, the Benin bronzes were stolen from the Kingdom of Benin in modern-day Nigeria by British colonial forces.
All right. Interesting, controversial stuff. This one is about how we make memories.
Playing the piano alone in his room. When his wife came into the room, he immediately leapt up and embraced her with joyful enthusiasm. A minute later, she slipped out to grab a glass of water, and when she returned, he gave her that same bright greeting as if she'd been gone for days. And then he did it again and again. Clive was an accomplished London musician until in 1985 at the age of 47.
Anyway. So there's some interesting things in that one. This is just music, which I'm going to download as an MP3. Lovely. And this is a TED Talk, which I'm just going to have the audio for as well.
Creative people. And that's images. Images matter. Why do they matter? And why do we produce?
See how there's a wide range of levels of volume on all of these. There's a old school sort of stop motion.
Ankylosaurus means stiffened lizard. His back was tough armor. Despite their protective armors, not many dinosaurs could escape the sharp teeth of Tyrannosaurus rex. His name.
Okay. And this one, which is just some old footage from England 1990. It's been recolorized. Right? What I've done is what we're all going to do is we're going to grab the URL, which is the address, copy it, and you're going to go to your YouTube converter of choice. MP3 is audio, MP4 is video. Pop it in, convert it, and then when it's found it, it'll process it. And then you're going to download it. Now, these are all that I've already downloaded already. I think I've already downloaded that, so I'll just stop that one. Now if we go to your downloads, they're all there, okay? Because I've done this beforehand. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, yeah, so I've got about 10 files that I'm then going to bring into Premiere Pro. Right, and here we are in Premiere Pro, which you should have as part of your Creative Cloud, Adobe Creative Cloud package. So we're going to go, after it's opened up, we're going to go New Project. Cool. Now, don't open any of these presets. Just go create. I'm creating a new thing. It'll say this project already exists. That's because the way it works, it wants you to make the name of the document first, but I never do that. I just get replaced. All right. So, and in a second, we'll have Premiere Pro open. Now, Premiere Pro is a professional industry standard app for making movies. So it's quite professional. It can be a little bit overwhelming because you've got all these little tabs and stuff. A good way to arrange them, I found, is to go to Workspaces and then find something that makes sense to you. So I'm going to go to Effects, which also looks a little bit daunting, but don't worry about it. Now, all of these windows do different things, and if you ever lose a window, you can get it back very easily by just going Window and clicking on the thing that you want to see. So the reference monitor is pretty important, because that's what the video is going to look like. The reason they're all on different things is that sometimes people work with multiple screens and they'll have this window somewhere else and the timeline somewhere else. Feel free to change it to something else that works for you. You can do all panels if you want, which I find a little bit daunting, but you will get the feel for it once you start making some stuff. The important thing is that we know where the reference monitor is, the timeline, and effects. There's sometimes, that doesn't really make sense to be that large. Anyway, so what we're going to do, the very first thing you're going to do, because there's no ingredients in here, there's just an empty video editing program. So we want to get some things in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to import, file, import, and get in downloads. So all of these things. Remember, we can press down Shift and we can choose them all. And here they all are. Now, don't be too quick to grab everything in. We want to grab the one that's got the right kind of quality. You can see the frame rates are different. Oh, one thing I should tell you is that next to the number 1 on your keyboard is a funny little symbol that looks like a wavy line. If you click that, that will make that one window bigger. Okay? So if you go to Project, you'll be able to see them all. Now, you can see that how long they last for. The frame rate. The frame rate is how many frames per second. Or the hertz, if it's music, or sound. So I've chosen 3 things. So I've got this and this and this. So there's lots of things to choose from. Now we're going to look at, what should we do? Well, we'll start with this one, should museums return, but we're going to drag it into the timeline. It says drop media here to create a sequence. Drop it in here, and we've got our first little bit. Now I chose this one because it's relatively new, so the sound is good quality, the video is high quality. You can go up to sequence settings, and you can see how good it is. So it's 1920 by 1080, perfect. So that's what most YouTube videos are at. And it's at 25 frames a second. Now some are faster than that, like at 23.976 and 24 frames. So this is the highest frame per second, except for some that were 30 frames per second. But that won't really matter. It'll all be the same eventually, because the first one you drag in sort of automatically sets it for all the others. So let's go ahead and select the other ones. So British Museum's full of should we make memories, much things, dinosaurs. So I'm going to drag these in as well, and they'll just go directly behind. And what else? I've already got should museums return, the TV static, and the music. All right, I'm just going to move my timeline across by decreasing the size of this so I can see more. Drag it over here. And some are quite short. Now, let's open up this whole timeline so we can see what we're talking about. This is the timeline. So, that's the first one, British Museum. Now you see this is a lot smaller. This is the same size. Alright, so what we've got here is working Premiere Pro, and as I was just saying, the videos are of different sizes and qualities, but we're just going to make them all the same now. So this one is high quality, quite new. This one's a lot lower. So what we're going to do to this next one is we're going to double click it, and we're just going to stretch it out until it fills the screen. Same thing. This one is high quality as well. This one is pretty old, so we're just going to stretch it out, but it's by double clicking on that frame and bringing it up. Okay, now we need to zoom in for these ones, so I'm just going to bring the timeline closer by bringing the bar extremes closer together. This one needs to be bigger, so stretch it out. This one's fine, but a lot of it is unnecessary. I'm going to use a shortcut now, so there's only really two you need to know. It's C and V. C and V. You see how the cursor changes? C is for cut, like cutting a razor blade to cut old film media, which is what they used in the old days. You can see the icon is an actual razor blade. And V, which goes back to a cursor, as a pointer. So I'm just going to cut it right there. And you see how now there's bits. To go back to V, I can highlight this, or this, or this, or this, or this. But I'm going to get rid of that. Just go delete. Yeah, that's all fine. And then this one I'm going to make bigger as well. Double click on it and stretch it out. And this is the England one. Double click on it and stretch it out. Now this one doesn't, you see how the ratio is different? It's more kind of square. I'm just going to pull it until it totally fills it up. Even though I'm going to lose a little bit of the top. It still looks fine. And I'm also going to get rid of the intro. So I just want to go straight to there. So, cut it. And a minute. And there we go. Now that one's long. And this task, in fact all the tasks are minutes long. I'm going to show you what you can quickly make decisions. Okay, now this is another problem. This audio is way too quiet for this. You can see that you can hardly hear anything that's being put on. And this one's louder, but could be louder. So I'll just zoom up on this so you can see what I'm doing. All the windows are fully openable. So you can see these are the wavelengths. Very quiet. A little bit louder. I'm just going to drag this up. Okay, I could probably make that even louder still. Okay, okay, so what we've got in Premiere Pro now is a collection of videos and audio. I'm going to move this audio up quite a bit, and what I'm also looking for is that I'm not distorting it. So in this window here is your metering for your audio. So if I play a bit of this.
To spark that very specific enlightened curiosity about our world. It's like travel. We can move the familiar and the foreign into the same space.
Okay, so that's nice and loud now. This is probably too loud. Okay, so that's the loudest part of the music, and one speaker is starting to distort, so I'm going to click on it and bring it down maybe 2 dB. Okay, I might make it quieter later because it's going to be in the background anyway. So now it's time to separate the audio from the video. So if we just make the timeline a little bit smaller so we can still see the program monitor, I'm going to move to here, and so this is, as interesting as this footage is, the audio is not that interesting. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Let's see what we're doing in the timeline, just because the timeline is more important for this particular part of this exercise. Right, so I'm actually going to lock this level and remove the audio, because it's not very interesting. And I might do the same for these. this is just... Okay, I'm actually going to keep that. That might be useful. Okay, I don't want the audio for that, so I'm going to get rid of the audio. And that's nothing anyway, so I may as well get rid of that too. Right, cool. Now, the only way I'm able to remove the audio, but not the video, is that I've locked the audio level. Okay, now let's listen to what else we have. Let's just zoom out for a bit.
Some dinosaurs were enormous, tall as houses. They could be as long as 15 elephants.
So some of this is actually kind of cool, the audio, but I don't want the audio to coincide with the video, so I'm going to separate the two. So I'm going to move this along and just treat it as a totally separate audio piece, and the audio video is something different. How much of this is useful?
When presented with it, as in, which of the following was not an ancient city in Greece? Athens, Marathon.
Okay, so this is actually...
I want to just remember some Greek guys' names.
Okay, so actually I don't want any of the video, it's just the audio one. So I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to lock the audio, get rid of the video. There we go. And...
cultural and historical artifacts. Many
This is actually quite quiet. I'm going to make this a little bit louder. I thought it was louder.
of which ended up here in the British Museum,
Maybe a little bit louder.
which was founded in 1753.
Okay, so and in the same thing, I'm going to disentangle this from the audio. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. And drag that to the end. And we're going to do the same here.
Objects are the so-called shrunken heads, also.
All right, so I don't want that either. So I'm going to move this over to here. Cool. Now what I might do, now that I've got a nice timeline, and now in total, it's, if I was watching this end to end, it would be, how long? An hour and a half. So it's as long as a movie now. So that's definitely not what we want. We want 1 minute. 1 minute. So we're going to take all of the stuff that was as long as a movie and turn it into 1 minute of stuff. Now, obviously, the audio by itself and the video by itself is going to compress this a lot, because now that doesn't have anything below it. And this is just...
We can see ourselves in...
by itself. And I'm going to combine speech and video together. All right, so now I'm going to start making a timeline of something a bit more useful. Now, how I like to do this is I like to think of the audio first, and then on top of the audio I can start making some interesting video decisions. So I've got a TED Talk.
And yet, while cultural production has continued to move on,
which is probably a good way to start.
Days, and then he did it again and again. Clive was an accomplished London musician until in 19...
Okay, and some stuff about psychology and some music. Now, that might not be enough actually, so I'm probably going to download just a little bit more music, but in the meantime, I'm going to start making something out of the audio. And the best way to do this is just to get the best bits out. So remember, our shortcuts are C and V. C is to cut, like a razor blade, and V is a pointer. So I'm going to get really close to this first one. I'm going to take out all the interesting things that have been said. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll say what I've got. Okay, so now that we've got MP3s in, just going to bring in a couple more assets, just to bump it up a little bit. And drag these in. One, two, three, four more assets. Drag them in here. I don't need the audio for that one, so I'm going to lock the audio, get rid of the video. That's too small, bring that up. And I'm gonna get rid of the audio for those ones as well. So just holding onto the video, get rid of audio. Okay, so what I've got here is a collection of audio with some music underneath. So I'll just show you the individual parts I've got. So I've got this weird background bit that sounds like this. Kind of eerie. It's changing speed as it goes. It's actually from an old cartoon. It's very strange. But this beautiful piece of music by Ben Gibbard. Just wanted to get started, but
Museums, you have continued to...
And I'll go through these individual bits. So I've got this bit.
Because after all, we live in a world of advanced digital technology where we can access endless amounts of information.
That's from the TED Talk. This is from the psychology talk.
Our memory helps make us who we are.
And also from the documentary about museums.
If it breaks,
Oh, no, sorry, not that bit.
In the late 1600s, the British Empire began expanding across several continents.
They straddle that very fascinating liminal zone between past and present.
During its centuries-long rule, the empire...
So you can see there's difference in quality of the recording. And the last bit is I've got
Between past and present.
During its countries...
So what I'll do is I'll get this all kind of, this is all just 1 minute. It all ends by 59 seconds. So I'll just try to rearrange some things a little bit and play around with their levels so everything sounds good. So obviously we don't want it in the red. We just want it, audible but not overbearing. So what I can do is
Because after all,
I'm just going to have that as a slower increase. Oh, something I should also mention. So this is a way you can get crossfades. Going into effects, audio transitions, crossfade, and then drag. I like to use constant power. You drag it where you want it to fade in from. I'm going to do another one here. I'm going to keep this one short. I just want it to go straight in. So that one's going to be shorter. The icon will change. This is a slow increase. So it's not this enough.
because after all, we live in a world
That's too quiet. So I'm going to bring it up.
of advanced digital technology.
Okay, that's too low because that's in the red. So down a bit.
Because after all, we live in a world of advanced digital technology where we can access
And that needs to be about louder too.
endless amounts of information.
I might just put that together so that when that first note hits, it's right there. Okay, that sounds like this.
Because after all, we live in a world of advanced digital technology where we can access endless amounts of information.
Our memory helps make us who we are.
Since the first museums...
Okay, so his voice is quite loud, but here that voice is not loud enough, especially that little bit.
Since the first museum...
I could just make it go straight into it.
Our memory helps make us who we are.
Since the first museums, we have continued to...
Oops.
These secular temples of analog experience.
If it breaks, we're left untethered, incapable of leaving the present moment and unable to embrace the future.
Where do we come from? What are we?
That's way too quiet. I'll just bring that up a lot. Or maybe the music could come down a bit. It's a bit intense.
Where do we come from? What are we? And where are we going?
And yeah, that's quite loud. Let's bring it down a bit more, see how we go.
To embrace the future.
Where do we come from? What are we? And where are we going?
I'm just going to have the fade end basically there.
In the late 1600s, the British Empire began expanding across several continents.
They straddled that very fascinating liminal zone between past and present.
During its centuries-long rule, the empire took precious...
That's going to be a fade in there. Okay, so I finished the audio now. I'll just let it play, and watching this mode here. So this is the overall master volume for all the different channels.
Because after all, we live in a world of advanced digital technology where we can access endless amounts of information.
Our memory helps make us who we are.
Since the first museums, we have continued to flock to these secular temples of analog experience.
If it breaks, we're left untethered, incapable of leaving the present moment and unable to embrace the future.
Where do we come from? What are we? And where are we going?
In the late 1600s, the British Empire began expanding across several continents.
They straddled that very fascinating liminal zone between past and present.
During its centuries-long rule, the empire took precious resources and wealth from countries all over the world.
How does all of that data that we're exposed to all the time, every day, become memory?
Where do I come from? Who am I? And where am I going?
Okay, cool. So still a little bit too loud because I hit the top there, so I might just bring the overall volume down a tiny bit by maybe 1.6 or 1.3 dBs. That looks like it's quite good volume. So now I'm going to get into the video part of it, and this is quite a fun aspect of it. I do think doing the audio first is a good idea because it gives you a good idea about what you're working with, and you can also make a little tiny script to help you with it. Now this is how I approach something like this. I've got, what have I got in terms of ingredients? So I've got, get my reference monitor out. So here we go. So this is what I'm looking at. So I've got the World's Fair. This is interesting. We've got a fleshy cartoon with some fish. What else have I got? I've got this one about the museum. So that one might be useful, but I definitely don't want the whole lot. It's too much of just one person that I can see. What else have we got? Also got this one, the old footage. And oh, what happened to my dinosaurs? I might have gotten rid of my dinosaurs. And I've got some snippets of there. So wait, where's that stuff? There we go. This dinosaur stuff. It's very small, but I think it looks cool. Don't know how I'm going to use it yet. But what I'm going to do, just as an approach of how I do these kinds of tasks, I think it's good to work into the layers. So let's move the timeline down like this. So all of my audio is sorted. So I've got all these other layers to work out what I'm doing. Alright, cool. Remember, it's just a minute of video we need to work out. And we've got these little tiny snippets here. So I'm going to actually start with the English stuff. and that's going to fit at the bottom. I'm going to bring in the dinosaur stuff, then the cartoons, and finally some of the museum stuff. And then last of all, I'm going to have the stuff, which is the noise. Okay. Have I got all of it? Yeah, I do. I got 3 little bits there. So might start off with that just for some fun. So I'm going to put that right at the top. And these ones I'm going to put in later. So I'll just put them to the side now. So you can kind of see how I'm kind of working here. Alright, cool. Just put those out of there. Now remember, it's only a minute. So we don't have a whole bunch of time to do too much. Now this little eye logo, so I'm going to turn these off. And I'm just going to start with this. What have we got here? For 1 minute. Right to the end. That's 59. There. 1 frame over. There we go. And we're going to do a cut there. That might not be the best bit, but it just gives me an idea. Yeah, I think there's some more interesting stuff that happens later on in the video. Tram going past. That might be a bit more fun. So I'll just delete that and move that here all the way to the very beginning, and then just cut it when it comes up to a minute, which is right there. Okay, so here we go. So I've got some snippets that I've made here. These are the layers that I'm using. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so here is the preview. And so as you can see, whenever anything is at the front, that takes precedence. And there's little bits and pieces I've gotten. So dinosaur, a little bit here. Now, I'm not going to worry about the order too much right now. I just want to explain how you could layer things up. As long as you get the idea, you will be fine. And what else have we got here? Those things. Oh yeah, and that as well. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm just choosing how much of this stuff to improve and take. Cool. Right, I think I've got enough now. Okay, so let me just put it all together. All right. Now this is going to be messy to start off with, but at least I've gotten stuff pretty close to a minute. So we can start with this, but that's probably too long. So I'll just have it there for a second. Well, probably less than a second, just a tiny little moment right at the beginning. And then we'll go
Because after all,
that, but then that's going to be enough. And then into this little cartoon.
we live in a world of advanced digital technology.
I'll just take it until it's people we're watching. And bring in some sound.
Because after all, we live in a world of advanced digital technology where we can access advanced digital.
I'll cut that there. And then there you go. Get rid of this bit. Alright, what else have I got? Dinosaur bit. I just want when he opens that his mouth, so I'll just get rid of everything else. There. Little snippet of that. Little snippet of this. Little snippet of that. Back to the dinosaurs. Another thing you could do is you can right click on something and change the speed of it, just to speed it up a bit. Sometimes some of those old cartoons are a little bit slow. TV noise is going to go up here. Fragments. What's this? Okay, I wonder if I can speed that little snippet up a bit as well. So dancing. Oh, kind of need that for context. And then he starts dancing. And then I'll just cut there because that's all unnecessary. There we go. Bring that together. And that's all I need. Nest it together. Cool. So yeah, it's getting a little bit complicated, but that's all right. Okay, so that needs a little bit longer on that.
Because after all, we live in a world.
I might just have that fade in.
Because after all, we live in a world of advanced digital technology where we can access endless amounts of information.
All right, another thing we can do, I'll just get all these in order. So another thing I should mention is effects. Where are my effects? Effects control. Effects. Video transitions, dissolve, cross dissolve. Okay, cool. So that's really all you need. A little bit of a cross dissolve there. A little bit of cross dissolve here. Cool. So look like this.
Because after all, we live in a because after all, we live in a world of advanced digital technology.
Okay, so things are getting a little bit complicated here, but going to be all right. I'm just going to turn that off for a second while we're making this.
World of advanced digital technology, where we can access endless amounts of information.
I'll just write right there. Okay, so the turning of the head.
Our memory helps make us who we are. Make us who we are.
It's the first museum. Since
Who we are.
Maybe speed that up a little bit as well.
Make us who we are.
Since the first museums, we have continued to flock to these secular temples of analog experience.
If it breaks, we're left untethered, incapable of leaving the present moment and unable to embrace the future.
Where do we come from? What are we? And where are we going?
In the late 60s,
Okay, so I can speed up a little bit as well. Maybe 150.
Leaving the present moment and unable to embrace the future.
Where do we come from? What are we? And where are we going?
in the late 1600s, the British Empire began expanding across several continents.
They straddled that very fascinating liminal zone between past and present.
During its centuries-long rule, the empire took
Okay, that's a bit long on that. How much time have I got left now? Oh yeah, it's good.
Liminal zone between past and
I might just cut that a little bit there until he takes the bait.
Across several continents.
They straddle that very fascinating liminal zone between past and present.
During its centuries-long rule, the
I don't think I need that. And put that down here. Oh, never forgot that, but where could I put this? Maybe I don't need that, but no, I don't think I need that, but something's got to be rough. And just take out some other bits, and now I'm just going to cut this stuff a bit as well. There. Just put this randomly over the top. Mix it up a bit, so put that there, put that there, here, maybe. Right, cool. All right, so now we're nearly finished, and the last thing to do. Okay, so the last thing to do is to get rid of the green on these bits, and that's very easy. What we're going to do for this stuff is we're going to use what's called a video effect, and inside here we'll just pull up effects, and there's a thing called keying, and inside keying you can just use the color key or ultra key, and I'll just move this up so we can get this right aspect of it. So it's this little bit here. I'm going to put the ultra key over the top. Then I need to go to effects control and down, and effects control is the ultra key bit here. And I'm just going to go to this little paint dropper tool and go green. And should, oops, wrong one. So I might just make this a much smaller just so I can see what I'm doing. Ultra key on this bit. To do, yeah, the color is green. So now you can see through it. Same thing with this one. Ultra key on this one. What kind of color? It's that kind of green. Color on this. Ultra key. What kind of color? That kind of color. And this has a lot of it. There we go. And green. Cool, and I'm just going to do a key out on here. Or video transitions. Dissolve. It's black right at the end. And I can zoom in on this. Just make it a little bit larger. Okay, cool. So we'll just keep this nice and open and the monitor nice and big, so you can see what it looks like. And I can have a think about whether I share this. But this is important to see as we go through the assets. So I'll just open this up nice and wide. Here we go.
Because after all, we live in a world of advanced digital technology where we can access endless amounts of information.
Our memory helps make us who we are.
Since the first museums, we have continued to flock to these secular temples of analog experience.
If it breaks, we're left untethered, incapable of leaving the present moment and unable to embrace the future.
Where do we come from? What are we? And where are we going?
In the late 1600s, the British Empire began expanding across several continents.
They straddle that very fascinating liminal zone between past and present.
During its centuries-long rule, the empire took precious resources and wealth from countries all over the world.
How does all of that data that we're exposed to all the time, every day, become memory?
Where do I come from? Who am I? And where am I going?
Okay, so that's not bad, but I might change a few things around. For example, this fuzz was for too long. I think that scene was a bit too long, so I might just get rid of a bit of that. Get the idea. Skirts. I'm just starting to see a sign right there, which I don't like. There. Just wanted to cut. There we go, just cut it there. And what else? I don't mind the buzz, but that's really obvious. A bit too noticeable. I might just reduce that size. And that was fine. And that one's kind of at a weird time. Might have it there. Just for a second. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with everything else. So once you play it all the way through and you think that you like it, what you're going to do is you're going to go File, Export Media, and you're going to give it a name. So I'm going to call it Haunted VCR Task, and then change the wave. And choose the name under export here. And then under format, what you're going to do is you're going to choose 8264. Audio and video. Ooh. There we go. And you should be able to just check it the whole way through. So that is exactly 1 minute. It's got some interesting imagery that occurs. And then just go export. Now, depending on your RAM and how many other things you've got open on your computer and how big the image is, it will take a different amount depending on what you're doing. But it should just render the audio files first, then the video files, and then you can send me that finished MP4 file. An MP4 file, remember, is audio. Depending on your system, it might send me something else. It might be .mov, but I can convert it all when I send it to Cambridge anyway, so that doesn't really matter. But make sure that you can see it, you can play it at the end, and then you should have everything done. So this isn't taking too long, so it's just remember it's only a minute of video. However, it does need to, there we go, it's done. So I'll just check that I can see it. Hold the VCR task. Double open it with VLC player maybe.
Because after all, we live in a world of advanced digital technology where we can access endless amounts of information.
Our memory helps make us who we are.
Since the first museums, we have continued to flock to these secular temples of analog experience.
If it breaks, we're left untethered, incapable of leaving the present moment and unable to embrace the future.
Where do we come from? What are we? And where are we going?
In the late 1600s, the British Empire began expanding across several continents.
They straddle that very fascinating liminal zone between past and present.
During its centuries-long rule, the empire took precious resources and wealth from countries all over the world.
How does all of that data that we're exposed to all the time, every day, become memory?
Where do I come from? Who am I? And where am I going? Because after all...
Okay, cool. So there you go. I'm happy with that. It's a bit rushed, but you guys are going to put more effort into that. So just remember to respond to your theme. Make sure that it's answering the question, so it's related back to your topic choice. It can be in a very metaphorical way connected. That's fine. And you maybe write a script of what you can hear once you've done the audio. I would do the audio first, get something from a TED Talk, get something from an interview, get someone talking about on a history channel or something. Make sure that we can hear what they're saying, work out the music underneath, have a bit of a flow to it so it's not a minute all the same sort of vibe. So it changes, and a wide range of videos that I've given you on the handout. And that'll be all.